risen with the confirmation of Steve Rogers' fitness after the test, and apart from the inclusion of Mark Wakefield at 5/8 in place of Gary Wright, whom he replaced last week at half-time, this is the same team which went down by 3 points to North Sydney 7 days ago. With Canterbury 3 competition points and Cronulla 5 away from the top 5 and only 6 matches to play, both teams face an almost impossible task of making it through to the semi-finals. This applies particularly to Cronulla, and Canterbury is the side which really must win today. But there'll be little in this result, as in the 31 times they've met since 1967, their records are similar and the average winning margin is only 3 points. In the first round this year, Canterbury won by 9 points at the Endeavour Field, while last year each lost its home game. Cronulla winning by 7 points here at Belmore and Canterbury by 18 points at Endeavour.
We haven't sighted much of the Canterbury attack at this stage because Cronulla have had possession and have been able to maintain pressure on them, but on that occasion, just prior to Gearan kicking that goal, they look very good with the ball and they need plenty of it. They like to throw it around.
Well, there was a good break made down the middle, and Canterbury are on the attack with the pass going out to English for Mortimer. He's racing for the line. Across comes Wakefield. Rogers gets him. Well, tit for tat. We saw Rogers filled by Steve Mortimer covering tackle earlier, and that one has saved a certain try. Kicked her in the play the ball, and a penalty will go to Canterbury. .15 minutes to go before half-time, and Cronulla are trailing Canterbury 4-2. And Canterbury looking for the first try of the match. Mark Hughes gives it out wide. Peter Mortimer going for the line. Across comes the cover, but he's in to score. Peter Mortimer getting quick service. First try of the match to Canterbury. 7 start again. McNamara to Hatch. Haddock. Wakefield on the burst. Pull back. Greg Mullane, Mick Mullane it is. Setter Greg Mullane. Hatch. Rogers. Hatch. It's just standing flat-footed. Kurt Sorensen. No one there to take the pass. Credit to go to that Canterbury defence. They're swarming all over Cronulla. McNamara out wide. And the ball stolen from him. McNamara didn't like that. He let go with a short left jab. That got...
Now it's Steve Folkes on top of him now. You can see him. It's not Steve Folkes, it's number 11, Taz Bateri, who took the knee from Sorensen.
Robinson, long way back, onto the ball strongly, bursting straight through. That's Jeff Robinson back to his best. That's how we remember him. English, Mullen. English. Steve Mortimer went the blind side. It was given to Folkes. Turned back inside. Mark Hughes. English. Gary Hughes. Folkes. Support out there to Chris Mortimer. Giving it inside to Steve Mortimer. Starting through. No support now. He's got it. Mark Hughes. Close to the line. On the burst, Peter Mortimer. He's over. Peter Mortimer scored next to the post. Taking the pass from his brother Steve. And the beauty about that was that he was on the burst when he took it. He was flying onto the ball. And although held by the defence, his weight...
Interesting to note that Steve Rogers has taken Perry Haddock away from the half-back position to save him from being sent to the sin bin, and Mark Wakefield feeding that scrum.
Well, it's resulted in another scrum win to Canterbury, and fullback Andrew Farrer playing it 12 metres out. Bateri, Steve Mortimer, Gary Hughes. Pass and intercepted, and away goes Greg Mullane, racing downfield. He's got the support after him, along with the defence, but Greg Mullane's going to score under the post from an intercept. A sprint of some 75 metres to Greg Mullane to bring Cronulla back into the game. Hatch, Rogers. Rogers turning it to the hooker, Roland Beckett. McNamara hit high. Rogers, little kick through, he's chasing it through himself. Kicked ahead, Rogers. Rogers is there, he's over. What a fabulous individual try. That's a great try to bring Cronulla back into the match. Hatch. Sorensen on the burst, picked up support, Robert Lane. Lost the ball. Canterbury have got it in their own half. Mark Hughes. That's, folks, a penalty. Centre field. Gearan, quick tap. Caught by Hatch.
How many times do we see a game like this with time getting away towards the end? It's 12-all. There's another penalty to Canterbury, but what I was about to say is at 1 point that
shadows lengthening, kicking with the breeze. Cronulla looking into the sun. Steve Gearan gets it up nicely. It looks straight. Yes, it's there. Five minutes to go in the game.
Fine game here today, but I thought that Stevie Mullen has been, and also Mark Hughes has had an excellent game, but Steve Mullen I like him for he's really involved himself for the full 80 minutes. And Cronulla, well, they've had some very good performances. Certainly Steve Rogers, a brilliant try he scored, and Kurt Sorensen, Dane Sorensen, they've tried very hard indeed. But Canterbury, as I said, look like getting away with this game. 14 points to 12 at the moment.
And Cronulla in possession inside their own quarter, but they can't win the game from there. We've got just on a minute to go. And Canterbury have got the ball, and that's going to ensure victory. Tasbatiri, and there it is, all over. Victory going to Cronulla, or to Canterbury, by 14 points to 12.
So some bright football in what turned out to be a fairly attractive game. 4 tries were scored for Canterbury. Peter Mortimer got both of them, and Steve Gearan kicked 4 goals from 6 attempts. For Cronulla, Greg Mullane and Steve Rogers scored the tries in the second half. Rogers kicked 3 goals from 3 attempts. The scrums won by Roland Beckett of Cronulla 14-9. Canterbury favoured in the penalties by 15-7, and the error count was 8 to Cronulla and 6 to Canterbury. Well, it wasn't really so much a game that Canterbury won, rather one that Cronulla perhaps threw away, and where they did that was 5 minutes before full time. At that stage, the scores were level at 12-all. Steve Folkes was running the ball up towards the halfway mark. He was tackled here by second rower Greg Nixon and David Hatch, and you'll notice that Nixon goes over the top, and there is an infringement in the tackle, not clearing the man to enable him to play the ball, and a penalty was awarded. The ensuing penalty saw a successful goal kick by Steve Gearan, and that 2 points turned out to be the difference in the scores. Well, 3 of the 4 tries were pretty good affairs. Reg, which did you think was the best?
Alan, Steve Rogers scored a great individual try, but I thought the best team try of the day was scored by Canterbury centre Peter Mortimer, and it just went to show the brilliance of the halfback for Canterbury, Stevie Mortimer. They'd won the scrum, and from the scrum base, you'll see him change direction here, steps off his left foot, gets around the fullback, Mullane, and passes on to lock forward Mark Hughes. Mark immediately passes to Peter Mortimer, and the gap is wide open. And Peter Mortimer going on to score Canterbury's first try.
Canterbury's young second rower Steve Mullen turned in an outstanding performance here today and is our man of the match. As you can see, he made many strong runs down the centre of the field, and also his defence was a thorn in the side of the Cronulla team throughout.
So there it is, Canterbury defeating Cronulla by the odd goal, but I wonder how